Hey there, my name is Kelly Dale with Off the Beaded Path. Today we're going to make a turn in our encasement series, and we are going to learn how to encase a 12mm Rivoli. And while we do this, I'm going to teach you a pair of earrings called the peekaboo earrings. So what is a Rivoli? A Rivoli is machine cut and polished. It doesn't have a hole, the same as our chatons that didn't have a hole. And unlike the chaton that has a kind of dome top and a very deep point, a Rivoli has a double point, almost like a really shallow bicone. That's the exact same on each side. So it gives you maximum color in your stone. Some of your Rivolis have a foil backing, and when you do that foil backing, if it's going to touch the skin whatsoever, kind of just like we did with the chatons, it's going to have to be protected so that the oils in your skin don't change or take off the foil backing. So in the project today, we're going to be using a 12mm Rivoli. And as you can see here, here's the Rivoli, and then this is an American dime. So you can see the size difference for our 12mm Rivoli. I'm going to show you a couple of options in the video today. Option 1 is where we'll actually take and we will showcase the stone itself. Option 2 is where we can take it and we can actually give it a star look to the center of it to really cause like that peekaboo effect of your stone. And the third option I'm going to show you next week. So what are you going to need today? Of course, you're going to need your 12mm Rivoli. Besides that, you're going to need 1 gram of a size 11 Delica bead, 1 gram of a size 15 Miyuki seed bead, okay? Definitely make sure it's Miyuki. You're going to need a pair of ear hooks, a size 12 beading needle, and 2 yards of thread. Now, with your thread, you want 1 yard for each earring. Here are some samples of what we're going to do today. This is the Paradise Shine with the Sapphire Delica around it. This is the Jet Hematite here with silver. And then, of course, I had to do a Christmas version because Christmas is coming up soon. So this one here at the bottom is Emerald, Light Cyan, and then the Galvanized Gold Seed Bead. So this is what we're going to do today. Let's get started. So the first thing you'll want to do is thread your needle onto 1 yard of thread, and you're going to thread on 32 size 11 Delicas. Now be sure and double count your Delicas and make sure you have that number 32. I'm going to let these beads fall, and going from the tail back up, I'm going to go through all 32 beads again. And sometimes, if you have a perfectly straight needle, you can get through all 32 at one time, and life is good. Haha. Yep. Got through all 32. So then, oh, look, one just jumped off. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pull that so I can show you how to do it anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that thread. And then I'm going to go through the last beads that I've got here, which is that one. Alright, so I've gone through all 32. Now, I'm going to go through the very first bead that I threaded on, which is going to be this one right here. I'm going to go ahead and pull that on through so that my working thread is coming out of one bead and my tail is coming out of the other side of that bead. Now we're ready to start our peyote stitch. I have made this nifty little tool here. Basically, this is a 1/2 inch wooden dowel. I've used a little eye hook here on the end so that I can put this on a keychain, or I can dangle some little beads off of it. But this is a perfect size for our encasement for the 12mm Rivoli. And you can see it is the perfect size. So, holding on to the little tail thread here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit to see if you can see it a little bit better as I do each one. Here we go. Alright. So, my thread is coming out of this Delica that we started with. Let me grab some of my Delicas here. I'm going to thread on one Delica. I'm going to skip one Delica, which is going to be the very next one, and then I'm going to go through the next bead, which is this one here. And I'm going to pull that thread so that my beads pop in side by side like this. Now thread on one Delica, skip one, which is this one here, and then go through the very next one. And you want these to sit on top of each other, just like that. So thread on one Delica, coming out of this one, I'm going to skip one, and then I'm going to go through one. Now I'm going to continue this all the way around, putting my Delicas in and creating my little bricks here. So as you can see, I've gone all the way around now doing my peyote stitch, and I'm back to where I started. So I have to step up. To step up, I'm going to go through the very first bead that I added in this round, which is going to be this bead right here. Now technically I can go through this bead or this bead, but whichever side I start on, I've got to continue on that one side. So I'm going to go through this one. Now this is going to be one of the ugliest encasements you'll ever see, because I'm going to do every color or every bead a different color, so that way you can really see what I'm doing here. So I've got my size 15 seed bead, and at this point you can go ahead and you can slide your piece off. The thing I like about this dowel that I've done it with a matte paint on it, so it holds it really well and you don't have to worry about it slipping around as you work those first two rows. But all I'm going to do at this point is I'm picking up my 15 and I'm going to go through the next 15 or the next 11 sticking up on this one side here. So I'm going to go through there and then pick up a 15 and go through the next bead sticking up. And I'm going to do this all the way around, pulling the thread tight as I work, because I really want this, sorry guys, I really want this to pull together as I work. So each one that you do, just pull it nice and tight so that it goes in just like this. And we're going to do this all the way around. The top of the encasement completed here. And you can see it's pulled very nice and tight. Now, if you're doing option 1, where you want your stone to be fully, fully able to see the complete entire stone, you'll want to put this in the encasement face down. Face down, because we're going to be holding it like this. So you'll want it face down so that when you flip it back over, you'll be able to see the entire face of the Rivoli. If you want to do the star effect, you're going to have to put your Rivoli in face up so that you can see the color. And that's what I'm going to be doing here today. And you can go ahead and get rid of that thread if you want, or you can just hold on to it. But you're going to hold the Rivoli. You can hold the Rivoli in place if you want to, or you can just set it to the side and work this row without the Rivoli in. I've got the top finished, so I'm going to stitch through at a diagonal. So I'm coming out of this Delica, so I'm going to go through these next two Delicas here at a diagonal so that I can be coming out of any of the Delicas that are sticking up on this side of the encasement. I'm going to thread on 115 and go through the next Delica sticking up on the outer edge here. And I'm not pulling the thread tight. I am just putting the 15 in, pulling the thread. Put your 15 in, pull the thread. And you'll want to add 115 all the way around. So here you can see I've gone all the way around. So it's no longer flat now. It's more rounded in shape. And I'm going to slide my Rivoli in face up. Now remember, if you want your Rivoli to be really seen and showcased for that one side, you'll have to put it in face down like this so that you'll be able to finish the back and you'll be set. But that's not what I want to show you. So I'm going to put my Rivoli in the encasement here. And we have to step up. My thread is coming out of the last Delica on that round. So I'm going to step up by going through the first 15 that I added in this last round of 15s. Thread on 115. I'm going to be using a purpley, pinky, lavender color here. And I'm going to go through the next 15 that I've got sticking up. And I'm going to pull that tight. 115, go through the next 15 sticking up. Pull that tight. 15, go through the next 15 sticking up and pull that tight, because you really want these 15s to lay down onto the Rivoli like they are here. So I'm going to do this complete round adding this 15. I'm adding the last 15, and you'll want to go through the 15 for that row, so the previous row. Some people make the mistake and they try to go up through the 15 that the first 15 that they added. You have to go through the last 15 on the previous row, which is going to be this last gold one here. And then you'll step up by going through the first 15 you added in this round, which is going to be my lavender color one right here. Now we're ready for one last round to give it that star effect that we're wanting to see. So I'm going to pick up 115 and I'm going to go through the next 15 that's sticking up in this round. Well, I just unthreaded my needle. Let me thread it back. So we'll try that again. So 115, go through the next 15 that's sticking up in the round, which is going to be this one here. So when you pull it and it pops into place, it's going to look just like this. Now, I don't want to put one in here. We're going to skip every other one. So I'm going to go through the gold 15, which is going to be the lower 15, and then the next upper 15, which is going to be my little lavender colored one. So see, I've added a 15 here. There won't be a 15 in this little space. And now we'll pick up a 15 and we'll go through the next 15 sticking up, which is going to be this one. And when we pull it and lay it down into place, you can see this is what we have. Now I'm going to go through the lower 15, which is going to be my gold one, and the upper 15, which is going to be my lavender colored. And I'm going to continue putting in my 15s, and I want to do every other one so that when you get this done, it's going to have that star effect to it that you'll see shine through. So once you've gone all the way around, this is what your piece will look like. Now, I've done each row with a different color, so you really can't tell what the piece will look like. But when you do one solid color, it looks completely different. Amazingly different when you're using the one solid color, because it gives you, like, this is my little bead that I added in every other little section here. This one is with the jet, and you can see with the jet hematite, you can actually do it this way to see the hematite color, or you can flip it this way to see the jet behind it. This one is the Paradise Shine with a light sapphire Delica and the silver 15. And then I have one more cool sample here. This is with the silver lime green Delica, the galvanized gold, and then the light cyan Rivoli in the center. So you can see it looks completely different than what I've got right here because I've used all these different colors. Now what we need to do is we need to make the little loop to attach our ear hook. So to do that, I am coming out of the last 15 that I went through for the row. So I'm just going to stitch to come out of any single bead Delica along the side. So you can see you've got rows of 2 and then a single, rows of 2 and then a single. So I want to come out of one of those single beads. Now you'll want to pay attention to which one you're coming out at, because you'll want to do the same thing on each side. Like this one here, you can see I came out of a Delica that is above two 15s that are on top of each other. And I made sure to do that on the second one. Now on this one, I think, did I do the same thing? Whoops, sorry. Yeah, I did the same thing on this one. Made sure I came out here where I've got a stack of 2. But then on the red and green ones, you can see I come out where I've got almost a point here of just the one bead. So wherever you come out at, make sure that you do that on both pieces so that you're coming out at the same place. So you're just going to stitch through your beads to come out of that single bead Delica here along the top. And then I'm going to pick up 6 15s. I'm going to go back through the same bead that I'm coming out of so that it makes my circle, so that it gives me my little loop. I'm going to reinforce this several times, and then you're ready to thread, get rid of the thread. Now you can do this by stitching through your beads, and that's how I do mine. So that way you don't see any thread or knots, and I kind of lock it into place. I'll come to a set of 2 here, 2 Delicas. I'll come through one Delica, I'll come back through the one right by it, a different direction, and then I'll come back through that same one, coming back up, so that it, let me get it here, it locks that thread into place. And then I'll stitch through a few beads and do that again. Now if you actually want to tie off your thread, I suggest you do it here along the back side of your piece. And to tie this thread off, all I'm going to do is come under a thread between my Delica and my 15. Leave myself a little loop, stick the needle through the loop, and then pull that thread. And then I'll go through 1 or 2 beads, go under the thread, so just stick your needle under the thread here between your 15 and your Delica, pull that through, leave yourself a little loop, stick the needle through the loop, and then pull. And then I never cut the thread at a knot, so I'll stitch through a few beads and then trim that thread off.
I hope you all enjoyed today's new project for the peekaboo earrings. The wooden dowel that I actually used was a 1/2-inch dowel, and the first 10 people who place earring kit orders for the earrings we did today will receive a free dowel in their package. Otherwise, you can find those on our website, which is offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com under the tools section. We also have all the kits, the pattern, and the beads available again at my website, which is offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.